Tournament week continues in the State High School League for boys soccer from North High School tonight. A doubleheader. Class 2A gets us started with Eastridge taking on Lakeview South, and it all begins next here on PrepSpotlight.tv.
PrepSpotlight.tv, in partnership with the Minnesota State High School League, brings you the 2019 State Soccer Tournament. This comprehensive coverage is supported by the McDonald's franchise owners of Minnesota. Further your education and achieve your dreams with McDonald's Archways to Opportunity. Today's coverage is also brought to you in part by the Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation, treating addiction, transforming lives. Comcast Xfinity, the best internet in America. The Urgency Room, in fast, home soon. And by UW River Falls, exceptional value, exceptional education.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome once again to North High School in North St. Paul, the home of the Polars, playing host to a Class 2A matchup in the quarterfinals of the boys soccer tournament here for 2019. I'm J.W. Cox here with you as the Lakeview South Cougars bring their 10-7 record into this matchup. Champions of Section 1, they will face the champions of Section 4 and the number 5 team in the 2A rankings in the state, the 15 2-1 Raptors of Eastridge. These two teams both coming in with very good defenses. It's the Cougars who have been a bit of a Cinderella story, making their way through Section 1, and the Raptors right where they expected and wanted to be with some big-time top 10 matchup and victories throughout the season. Raptors and Cougars coming your way from North High School, and we'll get back to it after this on PrepSpotlight.tv.
Working as a team under pressure doesn't only apply to sports. There are also skills learned while working at McDonald's, where you can get financial help to pursue a degree. McDonald's Archways to Opportunity provides tuition assistance to restaurant employees at universities, community colleges, and trade schools. Managers receive $3,000 per year, crew members $2,500. For more info, visit mcdonalds.com/education.
Speed's worth celebrating. Now that's a win. This is beyond Wi-Fi. This is X-Fi.
Are you worried your kid is using alcohol or other drugs? Know the signs. There is hope, treatment works, lives get better, families heal. Turn to the experts at Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation for help.
Are you sick, got the flu, do you feel not right? Hit your head so hard that you lost your sight? Who to call, where to go with your plight? The Urgency Room, that's right.
Between Eastridge and Lakeview South. The educational value of this event is more important than its outcome. Respect for others, including opponents and officials, is one of those values. Support today's teams with the respect they deserve.
And with that note of sportsmanship, we're ready to roll here on PrepSpotlight.tv for this quarterfinal matchup here in Class 2A. We've got a doubleheader tonight, which means we'll have some Class A action coming your way from North High School here in North St. Paul with Tech and Austin in the nightcap. But first, it's Eastridge out of Section 4, as mentioned. 15 victories for the number 5 team rated in the state. They allowed less than half a goal per game, 11 shutouts on this season. They themselves were shut out just 2 times in their 18 contests to this point. Ran their way through Section 4 with a 6-1 victory over Tartan, a 3-1 win over St. Thomas Academy, and then a 1-0 heart-pounding victory over then number 6 Woodbury, one of the potential top 10 teams that would make their way into the state tournament. Meanwhile, for the Cougars of Lakeview South, 10-7. Just over a goal and a half per game scored, just under a goal and a half per game allowed. That tells you that the split is right there. They were very tight in a lot of their contests, even in their 7 losses. But a team that ran their way 2-1 past Owatonna to start the Section 1 tournament, 1-0 over Farmington, a couple of thrilling victories, and then 4-1, actually their widest margin over Rochester Mayo in the Section finals. It sets the stage, Suburban East versus South Suburban, Section 4 versus Section 1. And this 2A quarterfinal about to get underway here on Prep Spotlight. Your home for tournament coverage in its entirety this fall. That includes this busy week on the pitch with soccer action yesterday. Here we had girls matchups. Matchups going on up at Chisago, out in St. Cloud, Farmington yesterday as well. And here at the home of the Polars, a beautiful venue for this crisp evening. Headed down into the lower 40s as we wait to kick this one off. Eastridge will be in the mostly black uniforms, those white numbers, and the gold down around the stomach. And the mostly white uniforms with the deep maroon shorts for the Cougars of Lakeville South. Let's take it to the schedule with another game to come. We're going to get this one underway just 2 minutes early. Gotta love it here as things are underway with North with the opening kick. And we are rolling here in this 2A clash. Could be scoring hard to come by between these two teams. Most notably, Eastridge and their defense throughout the season. That has certainly been a strength for these Raptors. They move it up this near side. Alex Hager. Hager, a junior attacker, tries to center it back towards the middle. Luick Masanvi, tries to push his way out towards the midfield stripe. It's pushed back against him, and the sophomore J.P. Hill tries to send it back towards the middle. Tapped and nearly intercepted by Brennan Featherstone, one of the seniors on this Eastridge team. A year ago, they were 9-3-5 and lost in the section finals in an overtime loss to St. Thomas Academy. Got over the hump of the Cadets earlier this season, as mentioned. Pushed up the near side. Doulier towards the corner. He'll play it back, looking for Hager. Steps inside a defender. And now Eastridge with a little bit of space to work up that far side, going right to left as Reese Dodd pushed it to the near side. Wyatt Hall stalking around in the box. Backside, the tall senior goalkeeper for Lakeville South. A junior keeper on the other side is Nick Wagner. We get our first whistle, and it rolls against. They're just for a throw-in, so out of bounds. Not a lot of space between the out of bounds and the stands here. Have to worry about chasing those around. First strike off the left foot of Luick Masanvi. And that's easily scooped up over there by Wagner. For Lakeville, 4-9-1 a season ago, so a big leap to get here to the 10 victories, including the 3 in the section tournament. After coming out of the regular year, sitting at 7-7. They had a one game below 500, 4-5 mark in South Suburban play this year. Ball caught up near midfield. Deflected up, not quite out. That took a nice check up off the foot of Brennan Featherstone. One of two Featherstones. The captain, Cullen, on the other side, along with Brennan, both seniors. This one's played back, looking for Hall to get there quickly, but he has to step out of the box. The left-footed boot skyward across the other side of midfield. So good pressure early. Joe Olson trying to keep it that way. Playing with Masanvi. Spark plug on both sides of midfield so far. An overreach as Hayden Hutter tries to make Eastridge pay for that, battling with Dodd. Junior Hutter eventually loses that when some extra help comes over for Eastridge. That's Featherstone again. Featherstone takes it away for the Raptors. A little toe touch for Colin Crawford. Dumped towards the middle. And spins out to the far side with 36:20 remaining here in the first half. A little miscommunication there between defenders back. It'll be played back to Connor Beauchamp. Sophomore defender. Gets a good leg into it. Can't clear it towards midfield. cool, calm conditions here as that first real true pop-up skies out there towards midfield. Shouldn't be too affected by any wind for this one, and really just about what you'd expect for this fall tournament. Early fall for soccer. You could have some dicey conditions, as this would be the last game either one of these teams would play out of doors. Moving on to the semis, that would be inside at US Bank Stadium. But they'll take low 40, some guys in the gloves, as you see with Featherstone. That one popped up, and a good example of how little room there is between the end line and the front of the stands, much less the rest of the stands, as somebody got a pop foul ball out of there. And dump it back down to Doulier. He gets the return right back, skies the cross over to the far side. Look to get a little contact from Adrian Langrevere. Touched by Lakeville South, little control through the midfield. Defensive touch for Featherstone to try and work it away in the middle. Sam Justo keeps after it. Forces a little extra help to come over for Eastridge. Raptor hits the deck, no whistle to follow. Ball played all the way back, a little too strong from the Sanvi to track it down. Instead, it's back and played by the Raptors. 34.5 minutes to go. Just shy of 6 minutes gone here in this opening half. And Anthony Bidwell's Raptors, the coach, had his team on an 11-game winning streak rolling into the state tournament after they started still a very respectable 4-2-1. Of their prior 11 games, 8 of those are shutouts, and 3 more, the rest of them, allowed just a single goal. So it has been a dominant stretch for the Raptors, with 8 total goals allowed. This year, and when you look at just victories, just 5 total goals allowed. They've outscored their opponents in wins 42-5. Streaking down the near side, Hager, center, defense comes right over to poke it away. There was some pressure coming in from Cameron Najafi. Forced Lakeville South to come over and recover. Zach Krause to throw it in. Excuse me, that was Hayden Hutter to throw it in for Lakeville South. Colin Crawford trying to work in the middle. With a long through ball, looking for the foot of Hager again. That's intercepted defensively. Pinned up on this near side, chances for the Raptors again. Sitkowicz moves it to the far side for Tong. Tong in the middle, surrounded by 3 white kids. And then push right back out towards the middle third. Force Eastridge to do it again. Doulier works his hand, putting that one through. Everybody stays on side, but it got in behind Cameron Core, and that allowed Wyatt Hall to track over there and scoop it up. Core was there. He stayed on side. The ball found its way past the defender, but unfortunately just could not track it down. In time to turn and fire. Eastridge right back at it, though. Little touch pass from Core. It's time coming to the near side, looking for the through from Hager. Hager got the header, and that one just tipped up and over the crossbar by Wyatt Hall. Living by the skin of his teeth right now to keep this scoreless. We'll have our first corner of the game as Adrian Langrevere put the redirect header on that. And he had drawn Hall out a couple of steps from the goal line. And so that gave him the angle and the chance to sneak it over his head, but Wyatt Hall, we mentioned, very tall standing back there in the box. Off the corner. Header, first contacted right back towards the corner where it's walked along by Hager. Hager will send it right back through. That header is going to go wide. Up high goes Sitkowicz, but could not direct it inside the post. So the first corner of the game belongs to these Raptors. But a couple of good saves, one good save in particular from Wyatt Hall. The senior helps stand tall and helps keep this game scoreless here. The 31:08 mark. Left-footed chip shot all the way out towards midfield. Trying to let Nasanvi play his way through some traffic. He thought he had a curling teammate, but JP Hill stayed locked on his back hip. Allows Eastridge to come back away with it. Stalking their way through the midfield. Trying to use the sideline to do that. Core reverses, full field, all the way to the near side. Doulier, long left foot. A battle at the high point, and it's won by Wyatt Hall, springing towards the front of the 8-meter. Collapsing down with possession with two Raptors trailing in on him. So he's putting on a show here early on. And so far, Wyatt Hall standing tall. 19 goals allowed in the regular year. Just those 2 goals notably allowed with a 92% save percentage in the section playoffs. 1 goal in the first and 1 goal in the championship, and that was it against Hall in this defense. And he has been the defense on the back end as Eastridge has shown some springy ability to make their way into the attacking third. Now Lakeville South trying their hand at that. It's pushed along the goal line and redirected back out. Nobody home but Raptors. This is brought up the far side by Lagravere. No touch again for Lakeville South until it's all the way back into their defensive end. Force the Cougars against pressure to try and push it through. Josh Tong providing that pressure and provides a little bit of a seam for the takeaway. Sprint up the middle for Lagravere. He crosses it over. The flag is up. It isn't offsides. And this kick will come up for Lakeville South. Talk about the Cinderella bit for the Cougars. Started the season just 1-4 this year, including losing their first 3. They were outscored 8-1 in those 3 games, but head coach Aaron Fenton got his kids rallied up, and they were ready for the trials of back-to-back 1-goal games in the sections. 5 of their 7 losses in the regular season by just a single goal. And the Cougars used that experience and flipped it on its head, winning their first 2 section games 2-1 and 1-0. And exploding for the 4 goals to really boost their average in the section tournament. 7 goals in 3 games. 4 goals against Mayo. It's been dominant possession, though, over the first 11.5 minutes by Eastridge. And they've had the lone corner and the best chances out of it, forcing Wyatt Hall to make some good saves. Eastridge pressuring again. Popped around. Calvin Keith made that a tough through. And 1 high hop, almost missed time by Hall, but no pressure in on him, so he secures it. Takes his time. Big, strong left-footed boot. Finds his way all the way down at the cleat of Masanvi. Works his way around 1 defender. Can't sneak past Featherstone. Featherstone the long chip ahead. There's options for Eastridge every time they push into this attacking third. That one knocked out. Second corner coming up. Played over there by Lagravere. He was defended well by Connor Beauchamp, but all the sophomore could do is force it out along that far side. Second corner of the game with 27.5 to go here in this first half. Cougars have been here before. Eastridge trying to make him pay this second time as Hager will take it again. He got 2 looks at it as the first try was bounded right back to him along the goal line. This time, Lakeville South with the first touch. It's pulled out of there, though, by Lagravere. He got it right back to Hager. Hager gets it back in front again. Couple of more headers and a loose man on the near side. Just chipped it too high. Cameron Core was back on this near side. He was all alone just outside of the 8-meter. And he just had that left-footed offering rushed a little too much and skied it high. I don't know how much time he had, but had he had a little bit more, he could have put a little more touch and finesse on that and maybe broken our deadlock here. Scoreless with 26:45 to go. Chirp of a rare whistle so far here in the first half, to the benefit of Lakeville South from midfield. See if they can turn this into some offense. Been stuck off to our left here in this beautiful field at North High School. And 1 quick touch just into that attacking third, and then right back it goes for Eastridge. And able to turn the momentum back to the far side. Throw in will come up for Lakeville South. Knocked away, Sitkowicz. whistle. This will get Lakeville South a little closer to where they need to be. J.P. Hill went down in a heap right there near the 40. 2 corners for Eastridge. Coming out directly from their bouts of possession. Owning this first half so far. Good through ball there. Good defense, second touch, basically turned over right there at the front of the attacking third. Bounds back to Cameron Core for Eastridge. Core's flying around, getting physical down there, trying to spring free some space. Lakeville South rips it away. That one finds its way through traffic. Lucas Faint wandering through. Hit his foot, couldn't get past Featherstone as we duck under 25 to go in this first half. Scoreless game. Some grade A type chances for Eastridge, as they've shown an attacking tendency that clearly put them at just over 2 goals per game on average. When they cross midfield, they are looking for an outlet, and that outlet likely looking for a quick second touch somewhere towards the middle. They're not just trying to send a deep ball down and beat you there. They're looking to get those extra 1 or 2 touches and put some pressure on your netminder. This whistle goes against Lakeville South. Long free kick as we come up to 24 minutes to go. Quarterfinal action, Class 2A. Section 1 champs, the Cougars. They're here into the state tournament for the first time ever. And their Section 4 champs, Eastridge, back here with their 3rd section title as that one sneaks across everyone. But got in too deep. Featherstone just able to boot it too strong over onto an auxiliary field. It'll come back to Lakeville South. 3rd section title ever. They had back-to-back titles in the section in 2014 and 2015. They were state runners-up in 2015. Lost to Anoka that year in the championship game by a goal, 2-1. Will Johnston is senior attacker. First sighting of some fresh legs in this game. Goal kick comes all the way right back out.
Today's tournament action in John's Journal at mshsl.org. John's Journal
is deflected out. That should be south ball, and it is. Luke Masanvi there on the spot. Throw-in's going to curl along the sideline. Nifty little header from Just. Pushed it back out towards midfield. Faint does just that around his back, but can't eventually beat the 2 defenders. Featherstone and La Gravere take it away. It's redirected back towards the middle, looking for Tong. Tong just slows it down enough. Let the offense come set. The defense gets right back into it. Long left-footed boot, too high. That was Dulier trying to just find the back of the net. One quick touch. And it goes high. They've had better looks than that. 22.5 to go. Dulier just putting some pressure on. Header through midfield. Not much further than that, though, for Lakeville South as this game has gone on. There's a little seam for Faint. Faint trying to get it past the initial defender. Recovers as it was tapped away. Good recovery by Zach Krause. Force him to reverse to the far side and eventually get Tong's left foot on that to send it towards midfield. The 2 17s come together as Crawford and Core end up in a heap. Core took one off the head there, and then he's going to be called a little over aggressive, backing into one of the Lakeville South players. He was frustrated, took it out. The official at this level, he's keeping the card in his pocket as long as Core plays this well.
When you have great teams and great fans, a great
very easily could have popped out. Maybe the regular season game, that yellow card does pop out, but these officials very cognizant of where we are here. And they'll give the warning and make sure that that gets cleaned up before costing anybody some playing time. That one's knocked around. Made its way deeper into the Lakeville South end. Back towards Core. And a whistle. And Core. And there we go. That's talking to number 2. And that appears to be the last that our main official will be prepared to give here. Core with a little hip shove. So free kick, pushing closer there towards the front of the box. Lakeville South couldn't do much with it. Knocked around. Fight for the ball, eventually back to Bryant Braun. He sends it forward, but out of bounds. And some substitutions, and that is a coach and Anthony Bidwell knowing that he's got a guy just walking that tightrope there of getting too aggressive, letting the frustrations get there. Terrence Vu checks into the game for Cameron Core. So gets him out of the hot seat. 20:06 to go. And that'll pause as they sort things out. And then roll again. Sneaks out on that far side as we go under 20 to play. Eastridge with a chance to turn their possession into some opportunity here. Instead, the whistle back over to Lakeville South. Long kick all the way through. The Raptors back in defense. Sitting there is tied for the best in all of Class 2A. The defense as far as the goals against average for the Raptors. Good fight through. Cross comes to the near side, settled down on the chest of Lagravere. Dumps it right back to Tong. Tong through traffic, fires that shot, and it's secured by Hall down to a knee. Had a man crashing. Hager was there. He's been playing on this near side and worked out to the far side that time, and eventually the ball comes over near side. Lagravere back to Tong, then for the try, and another good save from Wyatt Hall. He's had a trio of those already here in this first half. Long and just trickled into the box enough. Chris McGrath giving it a good look as Hall sneaks over and plucks that one away. It's actually Will Johnston on that far side. He's the right side of the offense attacking forward. Ball finds its way through a seam, but only as far as Hager's foot lets it go. He dumps it up ahead to Lagravere. Tries to push through traffic, gets the deflection off of Lakeville South. That high motor, Luik Masanvi. Listed as a midfielder, the sophomore who scored a pair of goals, had 2 assists in their section tournament run. He is every bit the midfielder, inserting himself both on the offensive and defensive side of things. They're trying to find him. They have been throughout this first half as the catalyst to move the ball up the field. He's got it. Quick return touch pass goes to Sam Just. Just has that one deflected. They look to get the through ball to him. Again, it's to Masanvi. He'll hop it up ahead. Looking for Just in traffic. Deflected around, and a whistle against Lakeville South here with 17 minutes to go in this opening half of quarterfinal play. Class 2A. This matchup, as we open up Class A, or Class 2A rather. Eastridge, the 3 seed, picking up the matchup against the unseeded Lakeville South Cougars. Your 1 seed Edina making their 10th trip to the state tournament. Eastview the 2, Edina taking on Maple Grove. Eastview taking on St. Paul Central. Got this matchup, and then the 4-5 game, which will come up later tonight. Their 8th trip to the state tournament, their first since 2015, and just their 2nd since 1989, Minneapolis-Washburn. The Millers taking on Centennial, making their 2nd trip to the state tournament. And they are one of 2 teams, along with St. Paul Central, in back-to-back state tournaments with the Class 2A.
Back to work.
Six of the top 10 teams in the state making this field of 8. Going according to plan. Near side, Vu started to sneak his way past the defense. Good recovery from Hayden Hutter. Sends it back as far as Hager. Hager's through ball deflected around just past the opening of the box there. Lagravere dumped it in, had it pushed right back out. The big foot of Connor Beauchamp. Ping-ponging it back out towards the front of the attacking third. 15 minutes to go here in this scoreless opening half. So many times these state tournament games can come right down to those single goals. The 2 girls games, one going to shootouts yesterday. A 2-0 final, a 1-1 through regulation. 4 total goals scored by 4 of the top teams on the girls' side in the state. Cora is back in there. He tries to tip it back up to himself. Does have some help behind. It's Tong working it down into the corner along the goal line. Tries to settle it around, and a sliding tackle to poke it out of bounds made by Chris McGrath. But he wasn't sure what was forming behind him. And so he took the better part of valor to just let that one sneak away. Hager has been taking these corner kicks. This will be the 3rd of the game. This one put up. First touch from Wyatt Hall to just shove that one two-handed out towards the front of the box. That was Lagravere that time, by the way, taking this 3rd corner. Here's Hager chipping it back in again, and the flying Wyatt Hall leaps his way to the save with 13:50 remaining. So Lakeville South hanging on despite several strong pushes and opportunities by this Eastridge Raptors team. Very little offensively on their end. Nothing on the corner tally. They have not forced Nick Wagner to make a save in this half. Even very few goal kicks coming back from that way, with the Cougars pushing down even towards the goal line with 13:10 remaining here in the half. But their backline defense, and specifically Wyatt Hall, who's got a handful of saves in this first half, keeping things set right where they are. Kevin Hernandez will check into the game for the Cougars. Miles Sitkowicz, senior mid, right back into the game as well.
Kevin Hernandez checking into the game
for Eastridge.
And for the Raptors, number 10, Miles Sitkowicz, back in the game.
You're looking at this field here in Class 2A as Eastridge trying to push their way back down. Number 2, St. Louis Park, upset by Hopkins early in their section tournament. Did not make it here. Crossover, another save for Hall. Down to a knee again. He plucks it up with 12 minutes to go. Hopkins would go on to lose to Minneapolis-Washburn, who we mentioned making their 2nd trip in the 2000s, but only their 2nd trip since the 80s. Woodbury lost to this Eastridge team. Andover lost to Centennial, who we mentioned. That one trickles back, and we will get a goal kick. Nick Wagner, the junior goalie, will get into the act here. And then the final top 10 team left out of the field was Minnetonka. And they lost to number 1 seeded Edina. 2-0 in the Section 2 finals. only this Lakeville South team of your Class 2A tournament, the only squad making their initial appearance ever in the state tournament. Everybody else has been at least once before, and that's the low Centennial. That one popped off the foot of Core, comes to the near side, Lacravere. He settles, looking for somebody else. Now goes one-on-one. Works outside of a defender to the goal line, looking for help. Gets it back on the near side from Hager. Hager does the dance to the goal line. He'll put the through ball right onto the left foot of a defender, and it's spun back out. First defensive touch there from Chris McGrath. Trying to clear. Can't get past Tong. Tong settles it right back towards the middle. Finds Sitkowicz. He'll reverse all the way to the opposite side. Get a fresh pair of eyes on it for Dulier. Dulier dumps it down quickly with the defender trailing. Now a through ball comes up to the top of the leap. Hall plucks it away. Read that one well off the right foot of Will Johnston. But you saw right there what the Raptors can and have been doing offensively. Work side to side, almost with impunity there. They can do anything they want around that shell of the defense. Pushing from left to right, right to left. Occasional through ball in towards the front of the box, but what they haven't done is solve Wyatt Hall so far. You can see Lakeville South, each time Eastridge comes down, pack those trio of defenders back in there just inside the box. So again, there's some open space to operate just outside of it. And that allows Eastridge to spin it and get the defense moving. But it is not. Beaten Hall signals with his left hand as the ball comes flying up the near side. Bryant Braun tracking it down towards the corner. He'll push it out. Deep throw in. Taken by Featherstone. He was going to take it. Now he'll wait. They wanted to try and go quick, but now they'll wait for Hager with 9:17 remaining. Here in this opening half, a scoreless game. So many chances. Right now, it's been the defense of Lakeville that has held the day. Tapped away. Right there, a little footwork from Asanvi. Make the takeaway from Hayden Hutter stand true. Hernandez through the middle of the field. Work back up on the near side. Around it comes. Lagravere pushes it up to Core. Core with a little space, some room to work. Crosses it over. Diving stop. There's Hall, and he tumbles over on top of it to make a half a dozen saves here in this first half with 8:40 to go. The speed, the attack on display for Eastridge. Lakeville South, the edge with the netminder, Wyatt Hall. So we go under 8.5 to play. First half action of game number 1 here of this state tournament 2019. Tournament time means PrepSpotlight.tv. We've got you covered Facebook and Twitter. Let you know what we're covering, where you can find it, and when. It's all going to be on PrepSpotlight.tv. Highlights, details, and more. Give us a follow on Facebook and Twitter. This one's scoreless, but not bereft of highlights. Defensively for Lakeville South, they have gotten a show from Wyatt Hall. And offensively for Eastridge, you can see why they put up more than 2 goals a game. And the way they attack, they just continue to come after you. And it is just the stops of Hall and company that have kept this scoreless. You'd expect Eastridge, some of their top flight guys back in there. A few more pushes in them. What does South have? Nasanvik, one of his deeper pushes into the attacking third of this field. He's quickly turned away. That defense on the back end for Eastridge deserves some credit for the way they can attack as well. They don't dilly-dally when it comes to sending it back towards the midfield. Quick passes, extra little touches, just like we saw right there. It was Miles Sitkowicz, the midfielder, to quickly send it back and let that offense go to work. Under 7 to play here in a scoreless first half. Loose ball played in the middle by Bryant Braun. Turns it back as far as the Raptor bench. And stay with Eastridge. Certainly a situation Well, the longer you go scoreless, as Drew Tovar, senior midfielder, checks in. The longer you can go scoreless for Lakeville South, better off you are. Don't want an avalanche of goals, obviously, from this potent Eastridge team. A whistle against the Raptors. And you know how good their defense can be. And don't want to leave yourself in a situation where you're needing to find multiple goals late in the game. Cougars a chance at control here. Ball trickled all the way down for a deeper throw-in than they've had. Right away, quick first touch defensively for Josh Tong and the Eastridge defense. Sent right back down towards the front. Loose ball, tracked around, and that's going to be a goal kick. Sam Just, captain for the Cougars, hasn't had much to work with today. There's just not that same offensive attack set up for Lakeville South. It's just not that kind of team throughout the year. So they're relying on Just through traffic. They're relying on Masanovic through traffic. And they need a couple of spot-on passes to beat a defender to get there to find an opening. Eastridge, meanwhile, every time down the field, it's at the very least 3 touches by 3 different attack-minded players. This one just a turnover, laid right out there for Featherstone. Light touch for him as he pushes it back towards midfield, but knocked right towards the Cougars. Looking for Justin Lohr. A couple of goals in the regular year. Ball deflects around. Core, opportunistic right-footed touch. Looking for Tovar on the near side, and he's going to run out of time and space. 4:05 to go here in this scoreless first half. Tovar had the last touch there along the sideline, nearly took it away. Lucas feints into a deflecting header, into space, but not a single white shirt there. Easy takeaway and pickup for Dulier. Pushed up the far side, forces the defense of Beauchamp to commit. Pumped that one through, back to the opposite end of the field as Reese Dodd will touch it for Eastridge. Coming up on 3.5. Just a little bit more speed on the near side for Bryant Braun that time to get there to the ball before Tovar. Sitkowicz and Masanovic both in hot pursuit there. Sitkowicz took it away. Chip back up. Masanovic. He had the header. Now he's right back into the play, wheeling towards the middle of the field. Pokes a free ball up ahead, forces the defense to spin it back as Dodd got the deflection up to some friendly feet. Midfield again with under 3 minutes to play. Right back to Hager. Hager running on the near side with Tovar, decides to go through the center. Core was there. Tovar takes it away, steps around a defender. Tovar trying to get a little on that, got it to Core. Core looking to step around, and he is impeded and had it taken away by J.P. Hill. Only as far as Featherstone. They'll push it back on the right side, chip down, and that one will sneak its way across the goal line near side. One of the rare times we've had a possession that deep with that many Eastridge touches. And we haven't had to have Wyatt Hall into the possession. Instead, it just trickles out along the goal line with under 2:20 to play here in this first half. And Lakeville South, upset-minded against the number 3 seed, has just about succeeded in, at the very least, slicing this game in half. If you're an upset-minded team, as that one might have found its way, certainly all the way over those bleachers. Hopefully it stayed in the proper parcel of land here. Plenty of soccer balls to work with, minute 20 to go, but if you're going to shut somebody down and you're going to pull an upset, you want to slice that game in half. For starters, and Lakeville South 98 seconds away from doing that. Let's see what you can do in the second half. You have taken some big-time body blows from Eastview. Come out unscathed. Sitkowicz didn't get everything on that off the Tovar offering that was deflected back. Long run over there from Misanvi, who I don't think came off the field at all here in this half. Cougars unable to get it past midfield, taken away by Featherstone. Featherstone will work it up the far side for Tong. Tong on the wing. He spent some time in the middle of the field throughout this game. Playing with Core, two-man game on the far side. Core sends it past Beauchamp. And that one was deflected by Beauchamp with a minute to go. Fourth, make it third. I believe it is our fourth corner of this game for Eastridge. And they'll just work it quickly to get it into play. Left foot going in towards the post, and it's taken away by Wyatt Hall. He had a man right there in his hip pocket. It was Sitkowicz. Keeps him out of the frying pan now with just 30 seconds to go. Masanvi trying to dance his way along that far sideline. Whistle comes against Lakeville South. And we will get the free kick here. Pause the clock for it to set this up. Spin it on the kick. Long through ball. Beauchamp tried to go up for it, couldn't quite get there. Tovar takes the second touch, hands to his head there as he thought he had a near miss. Just hops up over his head.
10 seconds. 9.
Gets us in the final 10 of half number 1.
6, 5, 4.
Hall taking his time. He has been the man of the moment so far for the Lakeville South Cougars, who have come in here in the first half against the number 3 team in this tournament and held them scoreless, a team that averaged over 2 goals a game. Right now, the Cougars feeling good, scoreless at the half. We'll have more about this Class 2A quarterfinal matchup when we come back here on PrepSpotlight.tv. Scoreless at the half from North.
And state tournament results, as always.
354. Hi, I'm Deontay, the hiring manager at a McDonald's in Minnesota. You tell them about Archways, and that's all you have to say. I've received a total of $3,000 for my freshman year of school, and that money, room, and flexibility to be going to school and be working at the same time. Hello, I'm Deontay, I'm the hiring manager. Nice to meet you. There's opportunities if English was your second language, if you didn't get to finish your high school diploma yet. There's certain ways that McDonald's will help you grow. McDonald's, by even having a job, has given me the independence and the opportunities to do stuff that other kids my age wouldn't have gotten to do. This isn't just a job, and it's more like a family where everyone wants you to succeed. There you are. Thank you.
A scoreless half, handful of shots on goal for Eastridge in half number 1 that were all picked up by Wyatt Hall. The defense always gets credit for some of those saves, but Wyatt Hall in that first half, he was tremendous with some big-time opportunities for Eastridge that he turned away to keep us scoreless here at the half. So no scoring recap to give you. 4 corner kicks for the Raptors that helped in that offensive attack. And here we sit at the half, scoreless here at North St. Paul. We were talking about this field throughout that first half. Again, number 1 Edina taking on Maple Grove. 4-5 matchup is Washburn and Centennial. Eastview gets St. Paul Central. And the number 2 seeded Eastview Lightning their 4th trip. Edina and Eastview, the 2 teams in the field that have won championships in the past. 3-time champs for Edina. Back in 99, 2000, 2001. Eastview back-to-back champs. Excuse me, the one-time champ in 2012. They were runners-up in 13. Eastview's actually got the biggest gap here in the 2A tournament between appearances, and it's only back to 2013, but we mentioned, you look at Washburn, they had the 1 appearance in 2015, but the balance of Washburn's 8 trips came back in the 80s, really spanning the decade, 80, 82, 84, 85, 86, and then once more in 89. Third trip for St. Paul Central, second for Centennial. St. Paul Central, the runners-up back in 2003. And Lakeville South, our team right here, their first trip. And Eastridge, 14-15. Their trips to the state tournament. We'll talk about this Eastridge offense when we come back and what they might be able to do or need to just keep doing to try and solve what is a stellar defense and a tremendous goaltending performance that is a continuation of a section goaltending for Wyatt Hall. We are scoreless at the half between Lakeville South and Eastridge. Back after this on PrepSpotlight.tv.
The Super 16 of state soccer comes to U.S. Bank Stadium on October 28th and 29th, with the championship matches on October 31st. To get the entire schedule and ticket information, visit mshsl.org. Be a part of the next historic soccer moment. You can't be there. Watch all the games on PrepSpotlight.tv.
Stream TV anywhere with the Xfinity Stream app. Turn wait time into showtime. Simple, easy, awesome.
Time to buy a new battery? Reach for what works. A battery from FVP. Verified, proven. Are you sick, got the flu, do you feel not right? Hit your head so hard that you lost your sight? Who to call, where to go with your plight? The emergency room, that's right.
Wherever your dreams take you in whatever field you choose, McDonald's can help make it happen. Archways to Opportunity provides tuition assistance to McDonald's restaurant employees to use at trade schools, universities, and community colleges. Managers receive $3,000 per year, crew members $2,500. For more information on tuition assistance and other Archways benefits, visit mcdonalds.com/education.
Don't forget, you can follow Prep Spotlight on Facebook and Twitter. It's at MN Prep Spotlight. That's at MN Prep Spotlight on Facebook and Twitter. It's a 2A quarterfinal matchup between the Section 4 champs Eastridge and the Section 1 champions Lakeville South, and we were scoreless at the half. The Raptors have shown why they scored 2.5 goals, just under it. 2.5 goals per game, outscored their opponents 42-8 in their 18 goals, or in their 18 games rather this season. And it is a pressure offense. Quickly moves the ball from the back end on the defense, makes it tough moving upfield for their opponents, and then quickly when they stop a potential attack, move it right up the field to go to work on the other end. And it is several good saves for Wyatt Hall that has kept them off the board here in the first half. Meanwhile, if you're the Cougars, we talked about it, did exactly what they wanted to do. If you're an upset-minded team here in the state tournament, now you find your way to slice this game in half. Now you start over another 40 minutes. You put a little wear on the tires of those speedy Raptors on the attacking side of things. And now what can you do? Is there anything in the pocket of Coach Fenton and his Cougars that they can pull out, much like they eventually were able to do against Rochester Mayo in 4 goals in their section final game, scoring 7 total goals in that section tournament? They can find a way to make an adjustment that makes it smoother transitioning through the field, taking a little bit of that Eastridge page out of the Eastridge book. A couple extra touches, maybe commit 1 extra man or so, because again, you're going to have to take a chance if you're going to pull the upset in this game, you have to find a way to get those extra attackers past it. You're not going to beat Eastridge by sitting back defensively and pushing it away. Yeah, you can hold them down for 40 minutes, but you got to find a way to pop a goal unless your overall plan is to just make your way scoreless all the way into a potential shootout. So if you're looking for that upset, the Cougars have to find a way to make an adjustment to get a little more aggressive. Season's come down to it. It's a tremendous 10-win year after they went 4-9-2 last year, lost in the first round of sections. They have turned the page night and day getting to this point. And now, 40 minutes to try and play their way to US Bank Stadium for the semifinals. They've got to find a way to generate some offense. So I expect much of the same from Eastridge as far as pushing forward and eventually breaking through, trying to eventually break through. And then the Cougars, we'll see if there is any sort of adjustment offensively or if they just are content to hang back and play that defensive game for another 40 minutes and take what may come in overtime or a shootout. Scoreless game between the Raptors and the Cougars. Back with the second half after this on PrepSpotlight.tv.
Splash, splash, splash. Apply a little splash. When your windshield's getting dirty, just apply a little splash. When your windshield's full of grime, bugs, dirt, and snow, just use a little splash and be safe on the road. Splash, splash, splash. Apply a little splash. When your windshield's getting dirty, just apply a little splash. See safely on the road when you apply a little splash.
Go higher than high school at Normandale.
Chiropractic services at more than 30 clinics.
This is Prep Spotlight's coverage of the state high school tournament.
Athletic
Brought to you in
medicine.
partnership with the Minnesota State High School League. As we've got a scoreless game after one.
Don't forget the Minnesota State High School League is now on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram.
As
Follow
Eastridge
along
and
stay
Lakeville
connected
South
with Minnesota State High School League.
play to the scoreless draw over the first 40 minutes. Glad you're with us. Glad you're checking out all the coverage we've got. And we will continue to bring this to you all throughout the state tournament. We'll call it fall state tournament season. We'll have volleyball, football, soccer, and all the rest covered like a blanket here on Prep Spotlight. About to get second half underway. Dave Whitman's on the camera. J.W. Cox here with you from North High School on a crisp fall evening here in the latter stages of October. And that means high school soccer, and we are underway in half number 2. So Eastridge will go left to right. And we'll see if that goal on the right side stays just as hot as this one on the left did throughout the first half. Officially here in the stadium credited with 4 shots on goal. We're looking at Hall for at least half a dozen saves in that first half. But suffice it to say, there was pressure, and he stood up to it throughout that first 40. So far, not too much different for Lakeville South. Here in the second, Eastridge with a Canadian goose, flying straight over the field, buzzing the tower here. That was deflected out. Goal kick coming up for Wyatt Hall. It was an interesting sight, right about press box level, just over midfield. The wildlife, never know what you're going to see. Push through midfield. No further than that as it batted right back by Eastridge. Zach Krause, the defender. He said latter stages of that first half, the defense does deserve a lot of credit working in tandem to start those offensive pushes down the field. And there's the rest of the Friends of the Geese. About a dozen plus 3 more stragglers flying low now, pushing their way over the field. But all the action down on it. Of course, the way that ball popped up, that might have knocked one out of the sky about 30 seconds ago. As it is, the play all hemmed in towards the middle of the field. 2.5 remaining. Excuse me, 2.5 gone here in this second half. Michael Bach trying to change the field position instead. Lakeville South bringing it this way with Keith. Up along the near side, a whistle on the Cougars, and that was Keith. Junior scored a goal in their section tournament run, his lone goal of the season. Now a dangerous spot here for Reese Dodd and company to try to do something with this. You'll see the Raptors go trailing in towards the front of the box here. Confident that Dodd can strike it through and give him a chance to do something. Looked offside there, the header, and then on the back end redirect goes out of bounds. There was no flag up. So there could have been some late separation there. Kept the offside from being called even after contact was made. Featherstone pushes it through, and with a man trailing as La Gravere is pushing in towards the back of Beauchamp. Beauchamp pushes it back out of bounds on the near side. Played from the near side, and into traffic goes Wyatt Hall to pluck that one out of the air. That's where some of those added saves came in. That's not necessarily a shot on goal, as it was left for Sitkowicz. And it forced Hall make his way over and make the save. Long through ball, nobody home there, but on the second touch, settled down. For Just, pushes it to the near side, looking for Masanvi. Masanvi back in towards the middle of the field. That's Keith. Keith dancing and pushes it over towards Just, but it's deflected and taken away by Eastridge. Josh Tong got the foot on it. Now he's hounded, walled off by a pair of defenders on the far side. Eastridge there for the quick throw in. Along the sideline, chipped back. Neither team really establishing any kind of possession here in this first 5 minutes of the second half. We certainly had that in half number one. It was Eastridge came right out of the gates. Establishing their dominance in terms of possession. Pushed out along that far side. Scoreless in the first. Scoreless in the first 5+ of the second. Long through ball again. This one forces Wyatt Hall. Little hop. That is by far not the most pressure that he's seen today. His long boot towards midfield. Featherstone trying to push his way forward. He is hounded by Keith. Keith chasing after it as it drops to Doulier. And out of bounds along the far side.
Come on, Coley. Let's go, Eastridge!
South drops it right into some traffic. Just eventually spins his way free of that as the defense relents. Left-footed through ball, tracked down in the box and poked out of bounds far side by Zach Kraus. Stays with Lakeville South for a deep throw-in. Be taken by Lucas Faint. Nick Wagner hugging that near side post. Off the throw-in, deflected. Masanvi has to go up high to try and regain control. Can't quite do it. Faint comes back over, got the quick touch. Sent right back through the middle, and there's 4 defenders just hovering around that front of the box area. And that one skips untouched back to Wagner. As untouched as the scoreboard here with 32:40 to go. A scoreless game in this first half. Eastridge trying to find their way back to that attacking nature that they had in the first. Lakeville South has made it a little stickier moving through midfield. It's been your one difference. They've gotten to some of these open 50-50 opportunities here in the second half that they did not in the first half. Worked around on the near side. Tong sprinting past 3 defenders, brings on a third, make it a 4th, and eventually it's popped out by the left foot of Chris McGrath. So a corner kick. The 5th time in the game, first time in the second half. Taken by Eastridge and headed home off the back post. Featherstone tugs at the jerseys. He's got the first one of the game, and it's a 1-0 Raptor lead. .8:21 into this second half. Featherstone off the corner feed from La Gravere. Makes it 1-0. And Eastridge, their pressure pays off, though not maybe in the way you would thought. That time they push down. An early foray down towards the goal line here in the second half.
Number 15, Brennan Featherstone. Assisted by number 6, Alex Hager. Goal coming in the 49th minute. Brennan Featherstone from Alex Hager in the 49th minute for the Raptors.
So it was actually Hager on the goal kick. To set up that score. But one of those first pushes down the field here in the second half turns into the corner kick. They had 4 in the first to no avail. Their first of the second half. Drives deep to that back post. Featherstone was there and he redirects it home. So a 1-0 lead for the 3-seeded Raptors. 49 minutes of scoreless soccer, which was playing to the hand of Lakeville South. And now they'll have to play catch-up against a team that was tied for the best scoring average against in the entire class. Tied with, of all things, Lakeville North at 0.4 goals allowed per game. Those rivalries, they always creep up somehow. Both the Panthers and Raptors allowing less than a half a goal per game on average. Lakeville North had 1 more shutout than Eastridge, so slightly fewer total goals allowed. But the average still right there. Now Eastridge, dangerous free kick opportunity here. Reese Dodd angling this up. It's actually going to come back from a little nearer the near sideline. And your head, if you're the Cougars, this one batted away from the front of the box off the head of a defender. Tracked down by Johnston. Turned over as here comes Masanvi. Masanvi decides to let it go. Attacker with a defender on his back. And they're going to blow the whistle on Eastridge. And all the Raptor fans right below us couldn't believe that, as it was Sam Just trying to push up the field. The whistle comes and Chris McGrath will get the free kick. Little stutter step hesitation as he runs up to it. Aims for the near side. It's poked right away. Deflected around, and Eastridge turns away the attack. Push it up, force McGrath to try to make a play. He sends it backwards instead. That kept Core alive. Now McGrath hits the deck as Sitkowicz was in on him. It pops all the way back, but only as far as Tong. He'll send it through. Looking for Core on that far side. Has Sitkowicz in the middle. Core chips it ahead. That one settled into the arms of Wyatt Hall. 12 minutes gone here in half number 2. We played 52, and it's 1-0. The lead for Eastridge. They scored in the 49th minute. Back to Core in the middle. Tong through traffic near side, pushes it wide out there for Lagravere. Back on the near end for Keith. He's turned away by your goal scorer, Brennan Featherstone. Push towards the far sideline, little hesitation move, got some space. Beauchamp turns it away. Back to Featherstone in the middle, surrounded, relieved of possession right there. Turned back, goes for Masanvi. Masanvi works it away from a defender on the near side, goes for Keith. Settled back down for J.P. Hill. Hill to Featherstone on the offense, rather on the opposition, to knock it away back to the other end. Lakeville South just not finding their way through this defense of Eastridge with any sort of success. That's going to be a whistle coming up one way or the other. Maybe not. Players got tangled up. It will be. Just missed the quick arm signal, so it's on Lakeville South. Free kick, long way off. Third appearance since 2014 in the state tournament for Eastridge. Hunting their first title in 2015, had their best finish. Runners up in a 1-goal heartbreaking loss to Anoka 2-1. They're going to get back to US Bank Stadium. Went scoreless in the first half. Brendan Featherstone, 49th minute, off the corner kick. Has Eastridge up 1-0. Coming up on 25 to go here in half number 2. Hill trying to work it through the logo at midfield. Trying to chip it through the defense far side, and there's an immediate touch for Eastridge. Doulier, who started, push back the other way, and the Cougar faithful have made their way up. Starting the Let's Go Cougar chant. Hoping for one big springing moment here in the final 25 to at the very least draw back even. Raptor fans, the answering cheer. Sportsmanship in the stands, always love to see it as that one trickles back and all the way through. Played by Wyatt Hall. Slide to just keep it alive out in front for J.P. Hill. Lehman near side. Captain wants it back from Masanvi. He didn't have the space to execute the pass. Eventually a chance for Lehman coming from the near side. Again poked up ahead. Tong, another Raptor who's had a great game, a great feed up to Lagravere. He'll take the shot, force Hall down to a knee. Left-footed boot is saved by Hall to keep it 1-0. Saying Josh Tong, the junior midfielder, he has been a catalyst for a lot of this offense for Eastridge. Working through the middle. Lagravere on the near side. He'll settle it back to Michael Bach. Defender content to play back past midfield, trying to work it up again. Crawford came through the middle for Lakeville South. 23:20 remaining. Featherstone, long chip ahead. Lagravere again, but instead it's deflected down by Lehman. And his touch trickles out of bounds. Lagravere over for the throw-in.
For the Cougars, Hayden Hutter.
Class A action coming up after this. The Austin
game.
Packers out of Section 1 in the Big 9. 14 wins on the season, unbeaten in Big 9 play.
For the Raptors,
A one-goal victory in their section final over Rochester Lords. They will play the St. Cloud Tech Tigers. Also a one-goal victory in their section final to knock out Bemidji. Number 7 team in the state, the Tech Tigers. Bemidji was a top 10 team, quite a showdown in Section 8. 15-2-1 for the Tigers. So Class A matchup comes your way. Following this one, scheduled for 7:30. This is about the only type of action we've seen from Nick Wagner so far. The junior keeps it rolling, plays it with the foot. It was played back there to him by his own teammates. And he has not had to make a save yet today. The lone corner of the second half belonging to Eastridge, and it went into the net off the header from Featherstone. And a whistle on Lakeville South. Beauchamp in the area. And a long free kick opportunity here for the Raptors. Clock spinning, under 22 to play here in the second half. We're at the home of the Polars. Side of some girls' quarterfinal action yesterday. Boys' quarterfinal action today. Long way towards the front, and it got in deep enough where Wyatt Hall had to poke that offering from Reese Dodd over the crossbar. And here comes corner number 2 of the half and number 7 of the game. Looks like it'll be Dodd who goes over to take it. So that one was perfectly placed. Not much else Hall could do. Just had to keep giving that ground and eventually make the leap and punch it away to make sure it goes clear of the crossbar. Dodd from the corner. This offering works along the crossbar. Second touch, fires just wide of the post. Featherstone make it Will Johnston. Was right there on the spot as it deflected out towards the front of the 8-meter. And he put the left-footed boot on it, but just wide past the far post. So it stays a 1-0 lead for Eastridge. We're talking about the venue, as so many are, these teams, these schools tapped by the State High School League, and they rise to the occasion each and every year. A lot of these soccer venues have stayed the same for a number of years for the quarterfinals. Chisago, North, Farmington, St. Cloud. A little different dynamic, of course, up in St. Cloud, but playing at the university. But the other 3 high school venues, tremendous atmospheres, tremendous hosts for these state tournament games. Featherstone up the near side. Knocked off the foot of Core. He was the middleman trying to relay that ahead off the feed from Sitkowicz. Lakeville South thought they maybe had a seam there to try and push back down the field as we go under 20 minutes to go in this 1-0 game. Up for grabs. Feed down the field. Johnston can't win the battle. Instead, Lakeville South takes it away. Braun, who played a good first half defensively, tries to redirect towards midfield. Only to be sent back down. He's got to defend on Core. Core with a man streaking to the middle. It's Vu. That's up over his head. Vu ended up nearly stumbling there at the front of the box. Picked up by Hall. He gets it spinning forward, delivers it directly to J.P. Hill. There's Tong in the middle of everything again to push it away. Vu with a quick touch as Lakeville South knocks it right back to him. Vu spins it through, back to Beauchamp. Dancing around, forcing Tong to commit, then sends it ahead to Masanvi. Masanvi can't handle as the defense is right there. He's walled off by Featherstone and pushes back out to Keith. Chips it up the field. And no touches down there for the Cougars with 18.5 to play as the Raptors maintain, and Masanvi is down just shy of midfield, so the Cougars are playing a man down here as Masanvi is down on both knees, huddled up. Here comes Tong. Tong at the other end. Tong trying to settle it down along the goal line, and did he touch that one out? He did. It's a goal kick coming up, and now they can attend to Loic Masanvi with 18 minutes to go. He went down about 2 minutes ago, or not that long ago, excuse me, about the very beginning of that play. And no call out the trainer. He's up to a knee. And they will help him off, so he'll get a substitute along with a host of substitutes.
It's a memory that lasts a lifetime.
With 18 minutes to go. So didn't see what happened back behind the play, but good to see him walking off there. And that'll be the first time he leaves the field here. He played the entire first half. He's right in the middle of everything from the midfield. Host of substitutions both ways. So there's been a little less pressure from Eastridge, or allowed to Eastridge, or not materializing in the same way as some of their chances did in the first half. So you credit Lakeville South for stopping some of those chances earlier in half number 2 than they did in half number 1, but there has not been any offense to speak of in the first 22 minutes of the second half. And that's not going to get it done now. Down a goal, they have to find a way to create something offensively. Tong on the near side, forced out against him. Luis Villalobos de la Fuente, the sophomore midfielder, is the one who came into the game in part for Masanvi. Playing at the midfield, Kevin Hernandez in there too. McGrath trying to push back down the field. He does get his foot on that as Tong has it deflected right back to him. Decor in the middle, back to Tong. Tong chips a shot too high. Under 18 to play. Don't forget, follow us on social media at MN Prep Spotlight on Facebook and Twitter. Highlights, news and notes, everything you need to know. Plus some of the best little snippets of Prep Spotlight, the TV show that first airs every Sunday night at 4:30 on 45 TV. Give you some of those throughout your social media channels as well. PrepSpotlight.tv. Bringing you statewide coverage of the state tournaments here in 2019, starting with this, your fall slate of action. Lakeville South has to find a way to trigger this offense. You get to a point here, and that point's coming up with about 16 and a half to go, but the point, no return really gets there about the 15-minute mark. You have to start taking some chances. Right now, you count them, there's 3 defenders, rather 3 guys back of midfield, 7 defenders back on this end. They're not committing extra, but see how they shift. If they can get this stop, they do. Hernandez on the near side. Actually, that was Villalobos de la Fuente. Sends it down. More needs to be the commitment on this end than the other end, as that one's carried forward by Just. They're hanging 4 defenders back, couple of mids not leaving the shadow of the 50-yard line. And now only on a free kick do they start to sneak a couple extra up. Got to commit some bodies here. Find a way to break this stranglehold of defense for Eastridge. That one is out. And it is a throw-in for the Raptors. Just doing a lot of work right there. Even right there, Villalobos de la Fuente. He stays back and makes the smart play defensively. But you got to come up. You got to try and pressure that ball. Keep possession. Instead, it floats all the way back to the box with 15:20 to go. The season on the line coming down to this. And you need at least one to stay alive. Losing 2-0, no different than losing 1-0 at this point with the final 15. Have to find a way to force the issue. If it means you give up something on the defensive end, backside, you have to live with that. Long push for McGrath. Little support coming up defensively. 4 defenders sticking back there. A whistle and a free kick coming up for Lakeville South. 14.5 minutes to go. They played so many close games. Peaked at the right time. 5 of their 7 losses, though, by just a single goal. They hadn't won 3 straight games prior to the section tournament, when, as you know, it takes 3 to move on. That low liner, first touch by Tong, front of the box. Now Lakeville South, can they keep pressure on? They got guys leaving the offensive end. Beauchamp, got to get some guys back, understandably so. Through ball like that on the backside. But they do play it all the way back to the foot of Hall. Crawford was there, trickling back to settle that one to his keeper. 13:40 remaining. Again, just trying to settle it down, push the near side. Hernandez trying to finish that job. Runs into Tong. Loose ball, 50-50, and the first touch came for Eastridge. Too strong though, and back to JP Hill. Pushes it up for the Cougars. Featherstone surrounded. He's got the lone tally of this game here with 13:15 remaining. So far standing up. And Featherstone a little slow to get up. That brings us a pause here with 13:07 to go. Last year, a game away from the state tournament for this Raptors team. But they have consistently put up good win totals throughout the regular seasons. This is the 7th time in the last 8 seasons with at least 10 wins. And in those 8 years, the lone time they did not have 10 wins, they were stopped 1 short with 9 victories. So the program has been humming along here.
Falling down and getting up is one of many lessons students learn when they participate in high school sports. It takes courage to show up and perform, knowing that mistakes will occur. A missed shot, bad pass. Mistakes are part of the game. Teaching young people a valuable lesson in picking themselves up.
Meanwhile, you've got this Lakeville South team. They won 9 games back in 2010 as that long one is in towards the 8-meter and wide. Hall plucks it away. 13 minutes and spinning now after the stoppage. They won 9 wins in 2010. Since then, they've won 8 games twice as their high in the 8 games in the 8 seasons since. And in 2 of those years, won just a single game. And now this program with their first 3-game win streak of the year on the line here, it earned them a Section 1 championship and a berth here in the state tournament. They played 40 minutes scoreless against Eastridge. The Raptors scored in the 49th minute and have held this 1-0 lead here into the 13th. Excuse me, the 63rd minute. Push down, time winding to a close. Eastridge leading by a goal and with possession. Lagravere pushed to the near side for Doulier. Back to Lagravere. He's got a little burst there just off the bench. And a whistle. And the card's going to come out on Reese Dodd. So with 11:41 to go, a yellow card on Reese Dodd.
Yellow card has been issued to the Cougars, number 3, Chris McGrath, in the 69th minute.
Excuse me, that's Chris McGrath. Wrong team, wrong.
12, Joe Olson.
3. Todd's still out there. McGrath issued the yellow card. Get the free kick for Cameron Core. Brennan Featherstones. Goal in the 49th minute, standing up here with 11:41 remaining here in the second half. Nifty pass between defenders. Deflected back out towards Core. He spins that one to the upper 90 right, and he just clinks it off the outside of the post. Goal kick here for Wyatt Hall with under 11 and a half to play. Don't forget, second game coming up. Tech and Austin. Outstate flavor to game number 2 of our doubleheader. The Austin Packers carrying their 14-2-2 record into a Class A showdown with the 15-2-1 Tech Tigers. Traveling to North St. Paul. Core drops it down towards the net. Johnston trying to track it down. It's booted out by the Cougars.
The official sports medicine provider for the Minnesota State High School League. With 10 hospitals and 60 clinics, we deliver breakthrough care that will keep your team in the game.
Lagravere fights his way past 2 defenders and buries it right into the hips of Wyatt Hall, trailing down to the deck to make the save with 10:10 remaining. Lights have been on here at North High School throughout this one. Started under the clouds, a crisp 43 degrees. And this one was kicked off. A scoreless first half. And now the lone goal standing up. Space to the near side as it goes to Sitkowicz. Trailing his defender, walking back via Lobos de la Fuente. Eventually tips it out with 9:40 remaining. Raptors maintaining their possession. Sitkowicz, winding ball that goes through, deflected. Villalobos de la Fuente on the near side, eventually finishes the clear, pushing it out on the near side. Doulier. In to Sitkowicz, back to Doulier to chip it through. First touch for the Cougars, sent back in. Nifty little right-footed touch for Johnston. Johnston looking for space. He curves it, didn't get much curve on it. It slips wide outside of the post. Under 9 minutes to play. Still without a shot on goal in this game for Lakeville South. Inside of 9 minutes. The specter of being shut out for the 5th time this season, looming in a big way. Knocked around and out in front of the Cougar bench. Trials of being one of these unseeded teams coming into state tournament play. Takes a lot. Not just the 1 seed or the 2. And these 3 seeds are, as we've seen today, very, very good squads. And Eastridge, pressure throughout the first half, capitalized on an early opportunity in the second half, and proving why they're tied for the best defensive numbers and one of the best defenses overall in the state. Making things tough on Lakeville South. They did their job, did the Cougars, cutting this game in half, giving themselves an opportunity going into half number 2, not letting up a barrage of goals. That pushing and shoving turns into a whistle against Eastridge with 7.5 remaining. but just unable to find a goal or any sort of offense here against Eastridge to keep one goal from beating them. Featherstone, he's got that lone goal. Chips it up ahead. Long sprint for Wyatt Hall. He gets there in front of Johnston. That gets us to 7 minutes remaining. Lakeville South's program. Some notable seniors, certainly. Sam Just, who we've seen as the focal point anytime they've been past midfield. Wyatt Hall, the goaltender. Lehman, a defender. Coleman and Braun, a couple of defenders. Olson, Devin Prow, midfielder and attacker we haven't seen much of today. That whistle out of bounds, and it will be Lakeville South ball with 6:20 to go. But there's a lot of youth on this team for Coach Fenton that has made their way into the state tournament for the first time in program history. And they can pocket this experience, their successful run through the tournament, their 1-goal defeats, 1-goal wins. It was actually a whistle against Lakeville South. The free kick for Eastridge. Takes us under 6 minutes. And they can see what they can turn that into come the fall of 2020. The small consolation here if this score holds, but a lot to look forward to for the Cougars. And then if you're these Eastridge Raptors, Lagavera gets it back to Core. Core drew out the tender, and Cameron Core just iced this quarterfinal for the Raptors. And he's going to get a yellow card for his celebration. Talking to the South student section. It makes it 2-0. With 5.5 to go in the 76th minute.
Scoring for the Raptors, number 17, Cameron Cole. Assist number 8, Adrian Lagaveri. Goal coming in the 75th minute. Cameron Cole from Adrian Lagaveri, the 75th minute for the Raptors.
So now 2-0.
Substitutions for
and
the
it
Cougars.
pushes into the insurmountable range
Calvin Keith in the
for
game.
Eastridge.
And for the Raptors, number 9, Terrence Vu. Back in action.
Vu comes back in. We saw him check into the game as Core nearly picked up a card in the first half. Here after his goal, his celebration gets him to the bench and earns him a card. Cougars desperately trying to push their way to the front of the box without a shot on goal today, and now trailing 2-0. It's going to draw the penalty, draw the foul on Eastridge with 4:40 to go. Now the Cougars, free kick for Joe Olson. He was hovering around it. Now it's going to be J.P. Hill to take it. Try and put Nick Wagner on the spot, the junior. He's had a relatively simple day at the office back there. Time winds. Backside, it trickles all the way down. Couple of South touches up front. Nothing materialized as we go under 4 minutes to play. Two second half goals.
Correct on the assist of the Raptors. Big number 8 was Cullen Featherstone with that assist.
Say that was Cullen Featherstone. So apparently he's been wearing number 8 all night. So apologies there to the Featherstones if that was the case. They just made that correction here in the stands. Adrian Lagravere listed as 8 on every roster. And Cullen Featherstone as 2. Cullen's down there. Sporting the number 8 with 3 minutes to go. He doesn't care what number he is. He knows that it was a 2-0 lead for them. Semifinals next Tuesday at US Bank Stadium. Noon and 2 on the schedule for those. And that's what the Raptor fans are hoping to pencil into the schedule. Substitutions here with 2:36 to go as we play out the string of this one.
Checking in for the Raptors.
So Oscar Lagravere checks in. Corner kick. Eastridge just getting it in there. Hounded around. That will turn in to a deep throw in. And now we've got time stopped with 2:17 to go. The official needs to have a conversation on the near side.
In our society, winning has come to mean
so we've got the second game coming up. Tech
Tech
and Austin.
Nothing is gained.
That'll probably be close to on time.
Is the result of a disciplined effort
through here in the final 2:17 of this one.
Remember, good sports are winning.
Get that done and get the 20-minute warm-up underway for game 2. But for the Cougars and Raptors, they could care less about what's next. Lakeville South, hard fought, kept it scoreless in the first half. But eventually, the 2 goals in the second and their inability to solve this very good Eastridge defense spells the end of their season with 1:50 to go. It's cleared out again by the Raptors. They didn't have quite the same balance tipping in their favor as far as possession goes and the avalanche of chances that they did in the first half. They easily could have popped home a couple of goals in half number 1. But Eastridge made their opportunities in the second half count.
The winner of this game will take on the winner of Eastview and Central. We have a score from that game with 10 minutes left. Eastview 1, Central 4.
Eastview getting upset right now, as they just announced. St. Paul Central with a 4-1 lead with 10 minutes to go. So you talk about pulling an upset, the number 2 seed. Danger of falling here in 2A.
Evan Clemens in the game.
Clemens, Tovar, a couple of seniors getting their chance here with the late substitution. 1:15 to go. But the drama has passed here. As the number 5 team in the state, the Raptors, come in and take care of business.
1 minute remaining. 1 minute.
Here in the first round of the state tournaments. .30 seconds to go.
Less than 30 seconds.
Wagner with the long boot to midfield as we just play this one out. So congrats to the Cougars on a 10-8 season. What will close out on their first ever section title and run here to the state tournament. And congrats as well to these Eastridge Raptors,
8, 7,
who continue to roll along their 12th straight victory.
2,
and it comes 2-0 in the quarterfinals here at North. Your MVP Brought to you by Prep Spotlight. Your Spotlight MVP of the game is the goal scorer for the game winner, Brendan Featherstone. Featherstone scores in the 49th minute to make it 1-0. This game finishes 2-0. Core chips in a goal as well, but Brendan Featherstone, the senior midfielder for Eastridge, will be your Spotlight MVP of the game. The final 2-0. Congratulations to Eastridge for moving on, and congratulations to Lakeville South for a tremendous season. Dave on the camera, I'm JW Cox. Stick around, we've got one more game coming your way from North High School. It will be Tech and Austin in a Class A quarterfinal matchup. That's next here on PrepSpotlight.tv. Good night, everybody.
At Polar Field, please walk, bus, and drive.